Hi there. The next strategy demonstration I'm going to talk about is the shopping spree. This is for students who are struggling with the concept of adding up numbers and using math concepts and money concepts. So, this is a really fun game where basically you have pictures or items around the room and you split the class in half and you have half of them be the shoppers and half of them be the cashiers. So you label things with different prices. So, like for example, you could label a textbook 50 cents, you can label a candle 25 cents, and you place them around the room and you give them money, fake money, and you say, okay, go find me something that is 25 cents, or go find me something that adds up to $1. And there are different ways to change these requests and make them harder, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Basically, the general idea of it is that you are setting up a store in your classroom and giving them money and telling them to shop based on the parameters you're giving. So this is going to allow them to get comfortable counting money, and recognizing and seeing like that this means 50 cents, not $50. So it works on a lot of really cool things. This should be used at an elementary age, when students are struggling with, like I said, the money concepts and adding things together. It's also really good when you want to implement kind of like a real life application into your classroom. This can go and teach many different life lessons, and you can kind of expand there, which I know isn't the purpose of this, but you can do a lot with this type of lesson and activity. So all you need to do to implement this is you just need, the textbook said to use pictures of things. I kind of think using like real life things like candles or markers or something will be more fun. So pictures or items, spread those around the room. You would need to do fake money. They recommend using the like coins first and then going into paper money as kind of like an extension, and then just moving on from there. So really you don't need a whole lot, just time and materials. So how do we know if it's working? So it's really cool is reading in the book that usually you start with things fairly simple, so 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, and then move on. So you can say, go find me some, you have 5 cents, what can you buy here with 5 cents? And then you move on and you say, okay, now you have 50 cents, what can you buy with 50 cents? Or find two things that you can buy with your 50-cent budget, or whatever the case might be. Then once they can start, doing that well, we know it's working. When they are finding success and that is becoming a bit easier for them, you can then move on to something a little bit harder. So you can give them dollar bills and you can say, here's $1, what can you buy with $1? Or how many things do you think you could buy with $1? And then you go and you move forward with that. So they were talking about in the book that you can change it up and make it easier or more difficult depending on kind of how it's going in the classroom. So I think that is really great that this activity works on something and then has the opportunity to keep consistency in the classroom, keep the same activity, but then make it harder as the students begin to find success, which I think is really, really great. So it's working when the students are moving forward and they're ready for that next extension. So you want to learn more. Actually, I Googled it, and the textbook has a lot of really great ideas. So definitely using the textbook as a resource. Pinterest has some cool things. Google has some really cool things. There are some websites like Teacher USA, something. There is a whole bunch that you can find different ideas and different things to like sell in your store, things like that. I tried finding a video of it on YouTube, and I don't really think YouTube understood what I was looking for. So that was a bit tricky to find. But again, to just kind of like simulate it, I would hand you 50 cents and say, okay, what can you buy with, this allowance that I've given you? And on the shelf, you might see this and you might see this, labeled really well. And you'll say, okay, I have 50 cents. I could buy two of these, or I could just buy one of these. And then you can give different parameters, change the amount of money. You can also make it a little bit more random. Say, okay, you have 63 cents. What can you do with 63 cents? And continue from there. So this is a really cool strategy to learn how to count money and how to be comfortable with it. I think that this is something that should be used in a classroom just because it's something that students will do for the rest of their lives, and I think that this is something that will help them be more comfortable. Not to mention it's a lot of fun. So it gives a really cool activity for them to do in the classroom, and they get to practice counting money and picking things out that fit in a budget. So this was a lot of fun to research, and I hope you enjoyed it.